Casey! Samurai Canal, call out!
After months of waiting, we finally know who came out of the burning factory alive and who might not have. Let's break down the season 6 premiere of Chicago Fire right here on What Happened. What's going on, all you chaihards? Lisa here, and I just have to say I've been obsessed with the One Chicago franchise since it started. Now I know I haven't done recaps on it in the past. I've only been doing these for like a year, and I just wanted to start off slow, and there's just so many TV shows out there. I wasn't sure how many videos I could handle, but as I progress, I'm going to start doing a few more TV shows, and I know there's a lot of Chicago shows, so I'm just going to start out doing one for now, and that's the OG Chicago Fire. So let's just get this recap started. So the episodes pick up right where we left off in the finale, and yes, we learn who stays and who doesn't. All of our favorites are still trapped in the burning factory, and there's not much else Chief Bowden can do, so he tells his men to basically open up the water cannons and for everyone inside to take cover, because those water cannons will cause some crazy steam that will basically boil people alive if it touches them. Now, after setting off the water cannons, we see Cruz and Bowden walking through the factory trying to find the rest of their men, and we end up with 2 lives hanging in the balance, and that is Mouch, who Herman is still trying to revive from his heart attack, and Casey, who shielded himself and a civilian under what looks like a giant cabinet, but was basically passed out when found. We don't get to learn the fates of those 2 just yet. Instead, we flash forward a few months to scenes that have been teased in the promos. It is a ceremony of some sort, and Chief Bowden starts talking about the life of Matt Casey, and immediately it's like, oh shiitake, did they really just kill off Jesse Spencer's character? We see all the people in their dress blues, except I don't think we see Mouch there, so we don't know his fate yet. We see Gabby, who actually isn't in uniform, but instead is in a black dress and is very emotional and seems to be crying. And, you know, when someone starts talking about the life of someone, it's like, yeah, they gotta be dead, right? Well, we actually come to see that it's actually a Medal of Valor ceremony for Casey, and we can breathe a sigh of relief and then get mad at the Chicago Fire writers for tricking us like that, you son of a guns. Now that we know that Casey is alive, what about poor Mouch? Well, you can rest easy because he is in fact alive as well. So basically, they've kept us on the edge of our seats all summer thinking someone would die, but they didn't. Now the EP did say in an interview before the season premiere that someone wouldn't be returning, so this kind of just fueled the fire that someone would die, but instead it's actually Jason Cannell as the character who is not returning. Now, he was in the last 4 or 5 episodes of season 5, but the writers knew that he wouldn't be back for this season. Now, instead of killing him off, they decided to reveal that he was actually moved to first shift, and that's because the second shift wasn't approved to get an extra man. So there you have it, no deaths on Chicago Fire as of now. Now let's hop into what's going on with the rest of the characters in this episode. Mouch is alive, and thankfully he is not retiring, but he is making some big lifestyle changes. Since his heart attack, he's changed up his diet and is exercising a lot more. Cruz is back from his suspension and feels extremely guilty still over blowing up at Mouch over that situation, so he's basically waiting on Mouch hand and foot, and Mouch is just eating it up while Herman tells Mouch he really needs to tell Cruz that he forgives him because this is just getting way out of hand. Also, it's pretty funny because everyone now calls Mouch Dead Mouch, since basically he died in that fire and came back to life. Mouch ends up signing up the whole shift for the firefighter muster that's coming up, and when the crew doesn't seem thrilled about it, we get to see Mouch kind of break down a little, and he tells them that he really needs this. He finally shares with everybody else, because only Herman knew in the beginning, that he was this close to retiring because he was just feeling run down and wanted to get away from the job. Now, when he was on the floor of the burning factory, he kind of had a realization how he basically didn't have enough time with everybody he truly loves, like Trudy and everybody at 51, and he signed everyone up for this firefighter Olympics because he cherishes the moments with them and he wants to do this together, and he really just needs to get out of that dark place and he doesn't want to go there again. So of course this kind of moves everyone, and they are now in, and in fact Casey actually tells everyone it is mandatory. Now I'm really hoping we get to see that in an episode, because that just seems like it would make for some really funny moments. For Stella, she gets evicted from her apartment after fighting with her awful landlord, so she's kind of scrambling to find a new place to live. Meanwhile, Brett's friend from home, Hope, shows up, and you can immediately tell she is gonna be trouble. She is like a wild one. But as soon as she arrives, she catches the eyes of the guys at 51. But it's like, sorry boys, she only has eyes for one guy in that firehouse, and that guy also seems to have eyes for her, and of course, that one guy is Kelly Severide. Now, Brett warns Hope against getting involved with Severide since, his girlfriend recently died and he's kind of a player, but that just seems to make him more attracted to Hope. And the two, of course, start flirting and texting, and, she's supposed to go over to Severide's later one night. Now, as Severide is texting Hope, he gets a knock on the door, and who is it? It's not Hope, it's actually Stella, who he said could crash with him for a few weeks until she finds another place to live. And throughout the episode, we've kind of seen Stella keeping an eye on Hope, so I guess she knows kind of what's going on there, and we're gonna kind of open up a love triangle here. Now, even though Stella tells Severide that, he's free to do whatever with whomever he wants, you can tell things are just gonna get messy. For Gabby and Casey, it looks like, after his Medal of Valor ceremony, there's some chatter that he could be on the fast track to captain. And while Casey's kind of flattered by all these rumors, he really wants to squash that gossip, because he just wants to keep running into burning buildings and doing that part of the job. And of course, that seems to worry Gabby. Throughout this whole episode, you can kind of see things are like eating at Gabby, but we don't really know exactly what they are till the end. As far as for Gabby's dad, he decides it's time for him to move out and leave on his own and eventually get a new job, which he does, but not before he confronts Gabby about something big. Now, like I said, she's still hung up on something, and we learn that it's kind of the events of the factory fire, and it's, Casey saying goodbye to her like he was going to die, and that really got into her head. Now, as Casey and Gabby are going out to dinner one night, before they leave, Gabby finally blurts out what's been bugging her, and she tells Casey,
"Don't ever say goodbye to me again."
It turns out Casey has been wanting to talk to her about this situation as well, but didn't know how. Now, Gabby basically tells Casey to say, "You'll always come back," and Casey does. But I feel like there's still some issues that are going to have to be worked on with Gabby, especially when it comes to stuff with her dad as well. Alright, what else in this episode? We do get a moment where a dad comes running up to the station carrying his daughter, who is blue and bleeding from the eyes. So what's wrong with her? Turns out she choked on a piece of hot dog, and Brett and Gabby are able to get it out. I'm not actually sure why this part was really thrown in. I don't know if maybe something with that dad will come up later. We'll see. I don't know, but the big drama and, case of this episode comes courtesy of Donna Bowden's new job. Now, Bowden's wife, Donna, has moved from teaching 4th grade to high school, and the big call Firehouse 51 gets is a fire at the high school, and it just happens to be Donna's high school. Yeah, what a crappy first day, right? And just learning that Donna could be in danger sends Bowden into quite an intense mode. Now, this fire was started in the chemistry lab, and as the firefighters move into the building, Bowden learns that Donna ran into the fire, towards the fire, and it's like, oh crap, is maybe she gonna die this episode? Thankfully, that doesn't happen, and they find her in a corner shielding 3 kids. I mean, and I was worried for a second there, because I was like, you cannot kill off Melissa Ponzio. Like, I had enough death scares for her when she was on Teen Wolf, and I'm still kind of missing Teen Wolf at this point, that I really just need to see her friendly face on this show. Donna ends up telling Casey and Severide that the teacher is still in the chemistry lab, so they go in to get her, and they end up dragging her out, but she is in really bad shape. Bowden then goes to Chicago Med, where Donna is, and we see her comforting the students and teachers waiting. We learn that the chemistry teacher is going in for a second surgery, but is still critical. And then we see Donna go up to Bowden and tell him, here we go, this is the cliffhanger here, the fire wasn't an accident. Yeah, what? Alright, so praise the Lord, no one died in this episode, because I don't know if I could really handle it, because I get so invested in these characters, and I know I'm not the only one. And I'm kind of still mad at the writers for killing off Shay, and then also Peter for going away, because I miss Charlie Barnett. But don't worry, he's on another new show. It's called Valor on the CW if you want to see that. And I also gotta say, I already don't like this Hope girl. I'm tired of these love triangles, in all honesty, and I just want Severide to kind of settle down. Like, we saw him do that last season, but then they went and killed the lady off, so now he's kind of back to his bad boy player ways, and I'm just sort of over it. Gabby's very much still upset by this factory fire, and of course all the family issues she has, so that's going to be her struggle kind of moving forward. And I'm actually excited to see, like I said before, the Firehouse participate in this firefighter muster, whatever that may be. Like, I really hope that the writers actually put that in. Something else the writers threw in that you might have caught, especially if you watched the whole One Chicago franchise, was this line.
I mean, I've never been to a firefighter bar before.
Oh yeah, we've got cops, doctors, lawyers. Well, not so many lawyers anymore.
Yeah, R.I.P. Chicago Justice, and you gotta love a franchise that can kind of poke fun at itself, right? Alright, so now let's check out the promo for the next episode.
This season, House 51 is heating up.
Knew this roomie situation was gonna work out great.
And next Thursday, who set the school afire? One person thinks she knows.
None of the students did this.
Yeah.
What if Donna's hunch is wrong?
Keep digging until you find something that can make it happen.
They're taking the law
You have to trust me.
in their own hands.
I do.
It looks like that chemistry lab fire storyline is going to continue in the next episode, and it's going to cause some tension. Like, is Donna right that someone actually started that fire on purpose, and why would they have done that? Alright, so for a premiere episode, I really like this episode, and I just love that all our characters are back together, and there's a lot of drama that's already starting to set up for season 6. Now, I know in various interviews that I've read that we're going to see more of our favorites' families and family drama play into this season, which I feel like it's kind of the tone of that has been set up with Donna being a major part of these first 2 episodes. And I know we're going to see more of Herman's kids, Gabby's dad, I think even Casey's family might come back into it. So I'm excited to see how that all unfolds. Let me know your thoughts on this episode and the season 6 premiere. Are you glad that no one died, and what do you think is next for our characters? Maybe what kind of cases or fires would you like to see them have to handle in this season? Let me know, then you can click right over here for some more of my TV recaps, and if you like what you see, feel free to hit that thumbs up. I'm Lisa, thanks so much for sitting here and geeking out over all things TV with me. I will see you soon.